Kanye Heartless on the Source 1575, 731. Spraticus on the morning breakdown. We have, well, all my biggest fans in the studio right now. This is Commander's Open Line.
Your radio show listeners.
The three radio show listeners.
The three amigos.
I let my friends in every once in a while. So, 35th Fighter Wing Commander, Colonel Williams. Good
morning, Spraticus. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
All right.
Doing okay.
All right.
It's my favorite day. It's Thursday, meeting day.
Oh, good golly.
Good golly. You
Can I
said
say
good
good golly
golly
on the radio?
You said good golly on the radio.
Okay.
To his left, we have Mission Support Group Commander, Colonel Griffin.
Good morning.
Good morning,
to be here.
sir.
Good to be here. Every day that ends in Y is a good day. I think I said that last month.
You did.
And then
holds true still.
to his left, 35th Fighter Wing Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Laurent. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. It's a
Good
beautiful day
golly.
outside. Good golly.
Good
golly.
Beautiful day outside.
Good golly, Miss
There's no
Molly.
saying
Isn't
for
there
the
a
day.
Little
Good
Richard
golly.
song?
That's right.
It is a beautiful day out this morning.
It is very nice
And you know,
outside.
I tell you what, I noticed sun's starting to rise a little bit earlier
That's right.
now.
Yes,
So
it is.
We're starting to make the swing, so we'll see.
Which brings up air conditioning. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get into that.
It
later.
will.
You know,
sure-
actually,
I'm
we
sure it
are
will.
thinking about air conditioning.
We
You
are.
laugh. We are.
And we'll get to that, but we absolutely are.
We have an action-packed show this morning.
Action packed.
Action-packed.
It's a radio show. How is it? Radio show action packed.
I don't know. We're on TV, so maybe we can have a little fist fight or
Those little
something.
pow signs in the back. Pow, smash.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, we'll probably get to something that's on everybody's mind. We'll discuss a little bit on the sequestration piece, but what I would like to do when we talk about sequestration is, you know, people talk about sausage being made, you know, very delicious, but you don't really want to see how it's made. What you are seeing right now on the sequestration side is sausage being made in front of you as these decisions are going on. The challenge we have right now is we're trying to make these determinations and work within the guidance that each level has on this. So, you know, for instance, when we get guidance from a particular level, we start executing on that or working on that guidance, and then you'll get guidance from higher up that's a little different, and then higher up again that's a little different. So, and I know all the services are going through this. So the bottom line is, as we're moving about and making these decisions, even when we say, yes, this is what we're doing, I would venture to say until we hit the beginning of April, a lot of these things are still in flux. We get fairly strong indicators on where we're going, but sometimes those indicators do adjust slightly as we go forward. So I ask everybody to bear with us and as we go through it. And the bottom line is our primary effort is to minimize the impact it has on everybody, no matter how it is, no matter what it is that we do when it comes to sequestration. And that's not just from, you know, the 35th Fighter Wing or the Air Force side. That's, you know, the DODEA side, the commissary, the BX. I mean, all of these things that I know there's a lot of rumors and discussions going on about what's going on. To be honest, I don't think any of those are locked and loaded, and they're still all being discussed on how to minimize the impact to really the customers.
So, question to that. Can I ask a question?
You can ask a question.
Actually, you
have-
cannot ask questions.
You gotta call it in.
I cannot ask
You have to
questions.
call it in. Somebody
Call
quick.
it in. How does that impact, like, training and mission stuff?
Well, that's an important question, and I'm not going to get into too much. Obviously, when you start talking about training deficiencies, we start talking about vulnerabilities, and I'm not going to bring those up on the on an open line radio show kind of.
That's right.
But what I will tell you is that is one of the key focuses that we do not lose out on our readiness and our ability. Training may be a different story. Training may be a big challenge. How do we continue to maintain readiness while minimizing some of the training that we had done before? So we'll have to take a look at it. Again, this is challenge number one, which is how do we get through the end of this fiscal year? Challenge number two is how do we get a continuing resolution that actually goes beyond where we are? Because if you weren't aware, we are still operating on a continuing resolution right now, which means we've never really been allocated money from Congress other than to say continue to execute the way you were. So it's kind of, you know, I'm putting my green eye shade glasses on. We talk from the finance side. It's a little confusing, but that'll be the next challenge. And then the challenge after that is FY14. Is this a continuation? Is this the new baseline? And if those are the cases, then we will have to take some serious looks at long term. What is this going to do? Right now, we call this, what I'd call this is it's a blow, but it's just one punch. And I think, you know, we need to find a way to survive the one punch and then, start FY14 in good hands. But that again, good question, and just to know that readiness is something we are trying very hard not to lose out on, because that's primarily what our job
Yeah,
is.
because I hear the buzzword that's going around. It's always less with less. That's what they're starting to say.
We are starting to say less with less, and that I don't know if that's necessarily readiness. That just maybe means commitments, and that's going to be a challenge. And that's not really, those will be kind of take some time to develop where that'll be, and we'll have to work through that.
Just like you're saying, if they have a new baseline, then you start from there.
And I will tell you, when we get through, hopefully, the statesmen in politics will step up and help us get through this, and maybe start to put some of that money back in. And if we do start putting that money back in, we can start to buy back some of the things that we have had to sacrifice, and that'll be another process that we'll have to figure out as we go through. I'm pretty confident I know where we'll start, and that's with our commitment we've made to our people. So, but again, that's a long road that we've got to go down, and we'll all go down it together. It'll just take a little teamwork. And again, I think the most important thing is folks continue to focus on the things that they can handle and do and are in their lane, which is, focus on your job. And I understand there's a lot of questions, but we'll try to deal with those as best we can, but stay focused on your job, because it's otherwise it becomes a little bit of undue stress, and I'd like to try to minimize that as much as possible for folks. And I've been talking too much, so please, thanks, Chief.
You mentioned do less with less, and one of the things that I know that they're looking at right now is they're trying to make sure that, and you hear this a lot too, kind of one of those taglines, is that it's got to be mission critical, and they're really looking at that, and we're really looking at it really hard. As a matter of fact, just today I was supposed to be TDY down at Yokota, and looking at that, it wasn't mission critical for me to go there, so we canceled that one. I was joking today, I was sequestered today to come in here because, we canceled that one. So there's a lot of those things. They're looking at the TDYs. Are they mission critical for you to go on those TDYs? If they're not mission critical, they'll go. Now, a lot of people get confused when we say mission critical. They think flying jets. That's what we do. We fly jets. But not everything's, if you look at this gentleman right next to me here, his mission is not flying jets, but he still has a mission to accomplish. So some of those mission critical things that we do are taking care of people. And sometimes that gets lost as we talk about that. They think that we're going to stop taking care of people and we're going to focus solely on flying jets and that kind of stuff, and that's not necessarily true. We have to prioritize, and we have to look at it. One of the big missions that we have in Japan is our bilateral engagements, and are we going to continue to do this, or we're not going to continue to do this? Well, that's part of our mission. If you look at the focus points and the things that are that Fifth Air Force, U.S. Forces Japan, and PACAF and PACOM are looking at, that's one of their things that they want us to do. So that's a mission critical thing that we're doing. So we have to look at how we're going to do those and just get smarter about it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to be focused just on flying jets. It's going to be taking care of everything, taking care of all the people, and making sure that we're doing that as well. So.
And there is a flying hour cut as well.
There is. There is.
Just so, this isn't across the board,
right.
And that's a significant piece. But you're absolutely right. Folks just need to understand, as we are looking at this and working this, and other folks, not ones that I'm not, have any part of, are doing the same thing. They're working very hard, looking very hard at how to minimize the impact on this. But the bottom line is, this will be a little bit of a sacrifice by all as we go forward. I kind of one of the comments I made before was, if you think back to the World War II, when they had the rubber drives, and everybody kind of took their tires off their cars and brought them in, and they recycled them. Half the folks had no idea what they were really doing. They just wanted to contribute, know that there was a lot of pain to be absorbed by everybody, and so everybody kind of contributed their part of it. And bottom line is, there's going to be a shared impact on this, and we just need to work through this together.
One day at a time. That's the big thing right there. Just take it one
Any
day
day
at a
that
time.
starts
Right.
ends with Y.
And really, for the most of the people on the base, most of the airmen and the junior enlisted, and actually most everybody that's on the base right now, there's not a huge impact to them. There's not something that they need to be losing sleep over, because it's really so much out of their control. It's really these gentlemen here and above them that are making the decisions on what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And it's good to get feedback from them, because there are some impacts that we're going to have. Colonel talked about Dodea in different schools. There's a lot of angst over what's going on with that. So we need that feedback coming up to us to make sure that we're making the right decisions, or helping those folks, the people that are making those decisions, make the right decisions. But for the most part, if your day-to-day job is fixing a jet, or if your day-to-day job is working on a vehicle or whatever it is, even my day-to-day job, that's not really going to change a whole lot. There's potential down the road it may, but right now it doesn't change. So don't lose sleep over it. Don't focus on that focus on your job and just doing your job to the best of your abilities right now. We'll try to give you everything that you need to do that.
And
I'm just enjoying being these bookends. I'm getting great wisdom on both sides. So I'm absorbing all this great knowledge here. It's coming both ways.
And actually, another important piece for folks to understand, if you sit back and think about this is not just an impact on the Department of Defense or the military. This is a U.S. government as a whole. And if you looked at where our economy and where our deficit was, there's a little bit of correcting that probably needed to happen as well, because that became, as the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said, what becomes a security risk for us, for our nation, when we can't financially maintain ourselves. So I think this is, again, for the United States of America as a whole, this is something that maybe we needed to squeeze the belt a little bit. And this will be a shared challenge for all of us, not just the military. And that's important to say, because I know a lot of folks will feel like maybe we were picked out of this thing as opposed to others. We took a large chop or a large chunk of it, but we are not the only ones. And that's important as well.
And that's sequestration in a nutshell, basically.
By the way, that is a tough word to say.
It is.
Nutshell?
No. That was good. You are on your game tonight. You're on the game this morning. So, very good. And actually, so we talked about a little bit how this may or may not impact some of the bilateral or some of the relationship things we do with our Japanese. Japan Day, April 6th. That's still a go, obviously, and that's something that's very, very important for us. And it's one of the key I call them three big community relation events we do: Japan Day, American Day, and the Air Show, obviously. And so we'll work very hard to keep all three of those things. And Japan Day, obviously, is the Near Rocks, and that's April 6th, and that's going to be at the club. And that is a great opportunity for us to get a chance to get exposed to Japanese culture. And what a wonderful opportunity that is.
I think this will be the third one I've had the opportunity to go to since I've been here, and it's pretty impressive. You kind of walk in, the whole club pretty much expect the whole club to be occupied, just in an opportunity to learn about Japan and Japanese culture. When you go in the door, and they'll teach you how to do the kimono. They'll teach you how to poetry. They'll teach you how to write. They'll teach you how different kind of artwork they do. They'll show some sword stuff. They'll show some dancing stuff. They'll show some drum stuff. Opening ceremony. I mean, it's a very good opportunity to learn. And this all comes here, so you don't have to go anywhere. You literally are right here on the base. So I do recommend on April the 6th, get out and come to it. I think that's the beginning of spring break, too. So I imagine a lot of parents
the first Saturday. Yep, first Saturday after spring break. So I was just looking up to make sure I had that right. One thing on that, I tell everybody at the right start, you have to go outside the gate to get a little culture and experience it. But this is the one time that actually you can stay inside the gate, stay inside the wire, and still have a little culture brought to you. And it's, again, a great opportunity. And they enjoy it as much as us, just like we enjoy the American Day, showing them we're very proud of our culture, and they're very proud of their culture. And it's a great opportunity for them to show off their pride in the culture that they have.
One of the most popular things they had last year was the pottery making thing. They had some people in there letting you make little sake bottles, I guess they were, or something.
Oh, really?
Like that. So, and then you got to keep the one that you made and stuff, and little stamps and stuff like that. It was really
mine
popular.
would leak.
There was a big long line. I didn't get to make one because the line was too long.
They usually do it back in the
impatient.
fault line area. So I recommend, because what happens is when you first go into the club, you'll have to go through a series of things. But if you really want that, go directly back to the fault line and go directly to that part if you're on the pottery side, because you're right, they do a little work back there, and it's pretty good. It is a long line.
And didn't they have the horses with the bows and arrows with the mushroom?
They did on the other side, right across the street from the club last year.
front.
I'm not sure they're having it this year or not. They had ride the horse and shoot a
shoot the marshmallow arrow at something.
Not at me, but at
Not at
something.
you guys,
Something.
Yes, the riding and shooting.
And for those of you of age, they have free sake tasting too. So, but that's only of people of age.
A lot of musicians, drummers, little kids that are dancing and stuff like that. It's really cool. You really get to see a lot of their culture. Last year was my first one, and I was surprised at how much stuff they had there. Bonsai trees are really cool too.
And it's all free.
Bonsai.
Yeah, it's all free. Bonsai.
Bonsai trees.
Bonsai trees. A lot of fun.
That is awesome.
There's a few events coming up, outside the gate, too. They got the Misawa Children's Ice Festival.
This Saturday.
That's coming up.
This Saturday. Yep.
They also have the annual baby salmon release.
This Sasaturday.
That's so we can catch them in the fall.
Exactly. And then, well, we've been advertising that the Northern Air Defense Force is going to be doing a concert at the Masawa Civic Center.
Yes.
And the last count that I had was 42 free tickets
42
left.
free tickets left.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is actually a great opportunity to hear their band, and their band supports, actually, just so everybody is aware, they support a lot of events that we do, which is very, very we're very appreciative of, because we don't have the band capability up here like that. So it's a great opportunity for us to go listen to them. And I'll tell you what, I kind of would equate it. It's a little bit of the not like Tops and Blue kind of thing, but it's an orchestra.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a full up. This is a full up event, and it's a big deal. And I'll tell you, you really enjoy it. To me, music is any language kind of event, and it's special because it doesn't really matter what language anything comes out in. Music is music, and it sounds wonderful. So they do a great job.
I enjoyed it last year. Misty and I plan on going again this year. I would just tell you, all next week is really packed. You're right. You talked about all the events starting this Saturday. You're talking about the FSS Showcase all week. You're talking about the 15th of March, some stuff going on at the club, too, the big social hour. And 16th of March, you got the St. Patrick's Day party and band. It's just all next week is a packed week opportunity to look for things to do. And I do recommend to get out and go do them. The Ice Festival, a lot of people didn't go last year, just didn't hear about it, but the Kids Ice Festival was pretty fun. They get out there on the ice and they play football, they play basketball. It's not just ice skating; they're actually doing things on the ice that you normally wouldn't do. So it's actually fun sometimes watching.
Not American football on the ice. They play soccer.
They play soccer on the ice.
So I do recommend to get out if you get a chance. I think it starts about 10 o'clock or so. I think the opening ceremony is right about 10 or 9:30.
The ice arena, the ice festival.
Ice festival.
I'm reading right now. It says
9 to 12.
9:00. So
if I would read better, I would know.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock this Saturday, and this week, we've got obviously the maintenance
Professional of the Year
banquet tomorrow, Friday night, and then Saturday night they have the spouses dining in going on. So again, we've got a lot of stuff going on. It continues to go on. So again, focus on the things we got going on, and
you shouldn't be bored this week.
And let sequestration happen in the background.
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing, right? You guys put all this stuff up front so we'd forget about sequestration.
That's right.
That's how it was planned.
It's trick.
Mission
trickery.
Support Group did that, didn't they?
We always do. We're out there to see folks. I will go out just as a common thing, and I think both of the gentlemen here on my left and right would say the same thing. We are thankful for the spouses. They've been putting a lot of big effort in for the spouses dining in this Saturday. Yep. A lot of stuff is going on. I think the last number was about 260 or so are going in there, so that is a great opportunity to do a spouses dining in. I'm thankful for the folks who set it up together, and I'm thankful for all the spouses who are coming together to actually decorate the club and put it some fun activities. I think it'll be fun.
And I think to add into that, I think that we get to go join them at the end of this thing.
Oh, we do. Okay.
I think we do.
I thought I was supposed to pick my wife up.
Where we get to go,
we get to go help them clean up.
Yeah, that's probably that may be what it is. But again, it's a great opportunity for them also to have a time to share time together and actually have a formal
We're going to
event.
crash their party. Okay. For all the what do you say it? The spouse of the spouse, however you say it, the other person.
Remember.
We get to be there at some time when they in there and crash this party. So come out after.
I think it's right. It's to help clean up. That's okay. One thing I did want to bring up, because I know it's been the questions have been going around on Facebook too, and it's the vet clinic, the veterinarian clinic, and the challenges that we've got there, and that is separate from sequestration. So have no fear. There is a plan in place to have our vet clinic manned appropriately in probably August timeframe, because that's how it does take a while to work assignments and get folks in. So we'll be putting stuff out on the Commander's Access channel if we have not already, but that kind of talks a little bit about it. But the bottom line is we're going to have a rotational qualified veterinarian services up here on a rotational basis now, where it's going to be coming up not here permanently, and that's really until August. And I know a lot of folks it's a challenge and that's difficult, but they'll still have the vet clinic there, and they can help you work appointments off base as we go forward. But it's going to be biweekly for your appointments. And I will tell you the priority care, and I know folks wonder, the real reason we have a vet on base, it's for our working dogs. It's for our military working dogs. So they still have the priority, the military working dogs do. And then we'll be working on the quarantine release exams, and then the PCS health certificates, and then preventative care. So a lot of the vaccines, routine exams, and those kind of things. So that's kind of the order that they're going to work their appointments in as you go forward. And they'll have capability for you. They'll have information of how to go to an off-base vet if you need some of the other services for emergency care when there's not a vet services available up here. I know that's a challenge that we're trying to minimize that impact by having somebody come up here on a rotational basis. What that'll require us to do is have a little more planning ahead for the PCS cycle for your animal. So if you are knowing that you're a summer move PCS person, the sooner you get that appointment in or work that appointment for your pet, that will help mitigate the stress of the move as you go forward, and we'll work the rest as we go. And again, trying to minimize that impact, but it will be something that'll be a little more challenging.
And whether you have a pet or not, it's important because you don't know the person coming in that you're sponsoring may have pets. So it's on the other end too. So make sure you're communicating to the individuals and the families who are coming in, because you're right with the quarantine topic. You know, right now we do pretty well that we can actually do the quarantine on base in the house if you have a housing unit. So that there are some challenges with that.
Yeah, they right now the word I have is, unless the word I have right now is, we will still be able to do that. It may be a longer quarantine period while we wait for the rotational vet to come forward. But the bottom line is we will still have that ability to do it ourselves. So, again, when you think about it, the question is, would you rather have the ability to quarantine your animal in your own house, or would you rather have the animal quarantined somewhere else, which is what other folks that are not on a military installation have to do. So it's still better than our alternative would be. So, but that's a great point, Mike.
All right. So any questions, comments, concerns, you can give us a call at 226-1575 or 226-3621. Wing Leadership here to address any issues that are coming up. And remember, they don't know the issue, and they can't help you solve it if you don't let them know. Colonel Williams, you have a song request?
Well, I do have a song request from my front office. Let me see. You got to tell
Garth
me.
Brooks?
Okay, this is from Tina in the front office. She requested a country and western song, so I had to look one up because I don't know any. And this is about the only one, so I'm going to go back in time because it's about I don't know very many of them, and of course it's probably got to be Garth Brooks song because back in time. So go ahead, you got it.
Standing
Spartacus.
Outside the Fire.
All right.